Sorry, I dropped my microphone. So, this was by far the best episode of Andor this season. And did I miss Andor being in this episode? Yes. Yes, I would have loved to have known what's going on with him. But we learned quite a lot about Clea. And so I am dropping this theory right at the beginning. I think Clea is going to turn out to be Cassian's sister. Now, a part of it is that I want to believe that she's just as adept as Cassian. So, that she would be good at the spycraft, just like Cassian is good at spycraft. And also because this, kidnapping a sibling and brainwashing them into hating the side that the other sibling is on has been done to death. Just watch any season of Power Rangers. That seems to be rinse and repeat. Most of the seasons involve one sibling having a vendetta against another sibling for some reason. So I really, really hope that it's Clea. Plus, they really worked hard, except for the fact that her hair is lighter than the girl in the first season. But also if you look at Cassian's skin tone, it seems again lighter than the boy who portrayed him in the first season. So I'm still going with it. Luthen meets Clea while he's hiding. He's apparently an Imperial sergeant. There's some sort of war going on. And it's entirely possible. I think I'm uneven. It's entirely possible that it's on Cassian's home planet. I mean, it seems very sandy, very dusty, so maybe not. But it could also be because if you recall, even though it was really lush, they also had this huge ass mining pit. So it's entirely possible that at this point that it was completely mined to hell. And like I said, they made her out to look so much like Cassian's sister. So unless this is some sort of fake out, because too many people were getting it right, I'm calling it that Clea is going to turn out to be Cassian's sister. Now, whether she actually survives is unclear. But yeah, that I'm calling it right now. So Luthen obviously is not his real name. So he's been practicing spycraft for years. He sends Clea on a mission, and she normally does comms. And he's like, no, I'm going to do it. So it's obvious that he knows that the walls are closing in on him, and he wants to protect Clea. Even though in the flashback he said that she's his daughter when it's convenient. So, which hurt her greatly. You could see that she was not thrilled at hearing this. And, because, I mean, she's still a kid. So, now, there were questions. I had questions a couple of blocks ago, during the wedding, where there was concern of a forgery. And given what Luthen was doing with artifacts, I don't know if he's supposed to be some sort of Indiana Jones, or if he was scamming people and all of these were forgeries, that he was just doing this to make money. It's unclear to me. It could go either way. Maybe he's just good at finding artifacts. That's always a possibility. But he knew that Dedra was onto him. Now, I think it's because of what Lonnie told him. Which, what the fuck, dude? All he wanted to do was get off of Coruscant with his family and live out his life. He never wanted to be a spy to begin with. Luthen forced his hand. The only reason he was doing this was to protect his wife and child. And I guess, because Luthen only cares about the rebellion, he resents that others might have somebody else to care about. Which makes the fact that last episode Clea assured Mon Mothma that Perrin is safe makes it very... The juxtaposition between the two is immense. That Luthen only wants you to care about the rebellion, and Clea actually possesses empathy. So, because Lonnie did tell him about the Death Star, and now Clea knows about the Death Star. So obviously she needs to survive to either tell someone, or she actually makes it to Yavin. So, if she makes it to Yavin, and it turns out she is, in fact, his sister, that's going to make... Well, Cassian's death was always tragic. But they're trying to really, really up the tragedy here. Just like Clea has to deal with the tragedy of she's not in the shop. I didn't catch what exactly it is she was doing for him. She looked a hell of a lot better. So I don't know if it was just the eye makeup choice of the last block of episodes, but she looked really tired. She looked really bad. And now she looks fine. And of course, this is a year later, so she sees... Dedra comes to visit. She's thrilled that she finally found Axis. And I should have saw this coming, but Luthen grabs a dagger to show to her, about whether this is a forgery. And I don't know, based on the flashback and just the fact that he was giving people a fake name, to me, either he was just doing it because he used to be a sergeant in the Imperial Army and he didn't want attention drawn to himself. But it does tell me that there's a good chance that those are actually forgeries and that wasn't a fluke at the party, but that he does indeed deal with forgeries. So they definitely told us Luthen isn't his real name, and Clea isn't her real name. Now, and that's another reason why I think that it's going to turn out to be Cassian's sister, because they made it obvious that Clea is not her real name by the way Luthen said, my name is Luthen Rael and yours is Clea, as if that's not actually her name. So, and I cannot remember what Cassian's sister's name is, but it makes me question, is it Clea, his sister? And again, I really hope she is, because they've done the siblings attacking each other without realizing it thing so much that I want them to do something different. I don't want Andor to do a trope. Um so this whole episode was about Clea helping Luthen. Um, in and the flashbacks were all her memories. At first, I thought it could be his while he lay in intensive care, and of course, Dedra was desperate to have him survive so he could be tortured to death, simply because she wants information on the rebellion. And so Clea's whole mission, whatever she was supposed to do for Luthen, I mean, he even obviously he must have known that Dedra was coming, because he destroyed the communications. I guess his desire is for Clea to leave for Yavin, but that he wasn't going with her, because he said from the very beginning that he's not going to Yavin. But yeah, I was so pissed off at him that he killed Lonnie. He did not need to do that. It's not like Lonnie was going to turn around and tell the ISB what's going on. I get it that this was unauthorized, but at the same time, how is killing him going to help? People now know that Luthen is dead, that Lonnie is dead. They're going to put two and two together, even though they did eventually arrest Dedra for overstepping her authority. But she is, they could have put two and two together. But this is the Empire. They don't think that intelligently. Logic, not their strong suit. But if they did, maybe that's what Luthen wanted. Maybe he wanted to draw Dedra to him to give Clea a chance to get out. But Clea sees that he's being medevaced out. And so she decides that she is going to, like I said, help him by making sure he dies. Which, on the one hand, was sad, because not just because of their relationship, but just the fact that he's done so much for the rebellion. But at the same time, it's a mercy killing. That's how my mom phrased it, and it basically is. It's a mercy killing, because he would be so much worse off if the ISB got their clutches on him. Provided that Dedra can actually, prove. And it's possible that they do believe her. But at the same time, they are such sticklers for rules that they want to, first follow the rules and then deal with Axis. Maybe because they figure, okay, he's beyond saving, so there's no point in wanting a miracle. So yeah, this was a really good episode. Watching Clea get to Luthen, and we see in flashbacks their relationship. No. So I can only assume he's been planning this spy ring, this rebellion, for decades. Um, so how it got to be so big, well, Luthen's gone now, so it's possible we're not going to get any more flashbacks about that. So yeah, you could really tell how much Clea cared about Luthen. And you know, he cares about her too, because he even said that he felt bad about getting a kid involved in this life, even though, you know, both she and Cassian, when they were very young, have hated the Empire for what they did. You know, their parents were killed in the case of Cassian and his sister. If unless it is indeed, in fact, Clea is his sister. You know, so they've always hated the Imperials. So it doesn't take a big stretch that she would want to be a part of this. But yeah, you saw this little burst of humanity. Every now and then, Luthen shows a burst of humanity. This idea that he actually possesses empathy and he understands that human emotions exist. But at the same time, he puts a mask on most of the time. And it came out really like that with Lonnie. And like I said, I did not like that scene at all. I mean, the actor who played Lonnie did an amazing job. But at the same time, I was just, yeah, there were better ways. But you kind of got a sense that this was coming. You know, that this is the way Luthen operates, in the fact that Mon was like, okay, am I not useful to you anymore? Are you going to kill me? So that was Luthen's MO for a while. So I guess it shouldn't be a surprise, but I don't know. I didn't like that at all. I felt so bad for Lonnie, because all he wanted to do was to ensure that his wife and child were safe. I don't think he was even that concerned, even though he said, get us. But I think he was more concerned about them. So, yeah. Let's see if there's anything else about this episode that... Oh, you know, my mom especially thought this was a short episode. I looked at the runtime. I'm like, nope, not a short episode. It was 50 minutes. And that's a mark of a good episode, that it feels like no time went by. And it's so short, even though it's not a short episode. And I watch with commercials, and it still seemed super, super short. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to mention in this episode. I think that's all I have for this video. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.